In this video, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough for how to set up your iPhone on iOS 15. This video is for beginners mostly, so if you want somebody to walk through with you exactly how to set up your new phone, maybe your friend convinced you to get an iPhone so you're new to it, or maybe your grandchildren even told you, could you go ahead and get this device, and you decided to take the leap. This video is going to walk you through exactly how to get your device up and running. Okay, so if your device is off, like mine is, the first thing you're going to want to do is press the power button, which is right here on the side. Just hold it down and you should see the Apple icon pop up in a couple of seconds, just like this. Once this pops up, this is going to just take a few seconds, and since it's brand new, or maybe you're just updating your phone previously, who knows, but let's say your device is brand new and you're starting from scratch like I am here with you, then you should see this hello screen, which is nice. For the money you paid for this, they can at least say hello to you. All right, so go ahead and pick the language that you want. Clearly, I'm speaking Spanish. Just kidding. I'm speaking English, so go ahead and press English. And then you're gonna wanna put where you are. I'm in the US, so I'm going to use United States. Now this quick start is for if you're coming from another iOS device, like let's say you previously had another iPhone. I'm going to set this up as if it was brand new and fresh, and I'm not coming from a previous iPhone. So I'm gonna hit setup manually, and from here you can choose your Wi-Fi network in your house and go ahead and type in that password. I'm gonna go ahead and get connected to my internet, and then I'm going to continue. Okay, once you get connected, it should move on by itself, and it's going to tell you that it's going to take a few minutes to activate your iPhone. This won't take long, so just give it just a few moments and then you'll be up and ready to go. And then the next steps, what we're going to end up doing is creating an Apple ID so that you can send things like iMessage and do FaceTime with your friends and family. And we're going to also set up the Face ID, which is housed up here. This is how you can unlock your phone. You don't have to set that up if you want to, it's only if you choose to. So from here, you can read through this little disclaimer here. It's just talking about how Apple actually uses information and what it's actually doing with the data that's up here. And you can either hit learn more if you want to read more about this, or just press continue. This is the Face ID that I mentioned a few moments ago. So if you actually want to set this up, I'll show you how to do this. If you don't want to do it, just press set up later, and then later on you can just decide whether or not you want to do it. Let's say you do. Press continue, and as you're setting up Face ID, just like I would like to pay attention to the nose here, okay? Try to move your nose in a circle as you're setting it up, okay? So I'm gonna press get started, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So let's see, can I get this? Look at your nose and kind of draw a circle with it and go along. You'll see this here, or you can follow this arrow here. Okay, I'm gonna move the device back a little bit more. And again, just move your head in a circle. And that's it. Really easy to set up. So let's press continue. From here, you can go ahead and put in a password. If you don't want it to be this many digits, just press passcode options, and you can put it to be alphanumeric if you want to, which is going to let you use letters and numbers or symbols or whatever. I like to just keep it to a 4-digit code personally, but you use whatever you want. Let's go back to the default here, and I'm just going to do all ones. I'm going to use it anyway. It's telling me that's a really easy password. Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, I am. This won't be an account that I really use anyway. I'm just doing this for the tutorial. So from here, if you're new to iOS, you can go ahead and just don't transfer apps and data, and we're just going to continue to set it up. If you are coming from a previous iOS device, you can transfer from another iPhone, but all these are going to be ways that you can actually get your data. If you're coming from a previous iOS device, you will go ahead and you can restore from backup on iCloud. You can plug up your phone to your computer, whether it's a PC or Mac, and go ahead and back up that way. For now, for this walkthrough, I'm just going to go to don't transfer apps and data, and we're going to come here, assuming you're new. So from here, if you already have an Apple ID maybe that you've created on a computer, you can go ahead and sign up. If not, and you don't have an Apple ID, go ahead and tap here. So since we're going to be creating a new Apple ID, this is all free. Okay, so we're going to go here to create one. So let's go ahead and put in your first name. I'm going to just type the name of the channel in here. And then you can go ahead and put in whatever your birthday is. I'm going to leave this here and just kind of go back some years so that I'm over the age to, be considered an adult here. And after you finish with that, just go ahead and press next. And now you can actually use your personal email address if you want to. So let's say that you have a Gmail or you have a Hotmail, whatever it is, you can actually enter this in here and that will be used as your login email. And that will be the email address that's used for this iCloud account that we're actually creating right now. Otherwise, if you don't have an email address, you can just tap right here for don't have an email address. And if you don't want news from Apple and different announcement for products and maybe software tips and all of that jazz, you can turn this off. I'm going to turn this off, but you can leave it on if you want to. So I'm going to put don't have an email address. And so Apple will actually supply you with an iCloud email. And from here, you're just going to want to type in whatever you want. You can use your name if you want to. I know for security reasons, some people don't advise that, but for professional reasons, it looks good. So just do whatever you want here. I'm just going to type in the name of the channel. Okay. And once you do that and press next, it's going to let you know whether that's even available. Yep, it worked. Wow, there's no chill tech at iCloud. What luck. From here, go ahead and create your password for, logging into your iCloud. This password is important because you're going to use this whenever you download applications, when you do different things as far as through the App Store, things that are attached to your iCloud account. This will not be the password to log into your phone. Remember, that was the 11111. I don't know if that was 6 ones or not. 11111. To log into your phone. This password is going to be to log into your iCloud account to do things like checking your email, downloading applications, managing your contacts. All of that's going to be connected to this password here. So they're both different passwords for different purposes. So go ahead and put a password in here and then press next and we'll continue. I do want to add something, but pay attention to this little note right here that's telling you that for your password, it has to be 8 characters and you need to have a number in here somewhere. And just make sure that there's an uppercase letter and that there are lowercase letters here. To make it easy, I normally put my first letter uppercase, but you can do it however you want. Once you're finished with that, go ahead and press next. If it's not a good enough password, this is where it gets to be kind of annoying because even though you like the password that you picked, it's easy for you to remember. It wants you to pick something that's going to be stronger. So from here, guess what? It doesn't matter if you keep pressing next. It's going to tell you that that password is too weak and easily guessed. So we are going to want to change the password to be something that is more difficult for security reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and actually change my password to try to come up with something that is better. If the password that you picked is correct, it's going to go ahead and let you go on. Now from here, go ahead and put your phone number in. You should have a SIM card that's entered into your device. If you don't have a SIM card already in your device, you can put your SIM card in by putting it inside of the SIM card tray. Okay, so on this left-hand side here, you have some buttons. If this is turned off, okay, this is going to mean that silent mode is off so that your phone can actually ring and you'll hear notifications. And when you change it, I'm going to change it back. Silent mode is off. Whenever you see that this is red, I don't know if you can see that here, but whenever you see that this is red, that means that your phone is on silent. And whenever you select it to here, it's going to show you silent mode is on. All right, I'll show you that again. That's if it's off. This is if it's on. All right, so I'm going to leave mine on. And then you're going to have your volume up and down. Below that is going to be your SIM card tray. So you should have a SIM card remover that came inside of your box. Here is where you're going to want to go ahead and grab that if you haven't already. Push that pin in here and this tray is going to come out. I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, so I have my SIM card remover here. This is what it looks like. All right, so you're gonna want to take this pin and put it into this small hole right here on your SIM card tray. Just line it up, push it down, and your SIM card tray should pop out. I'll do that again. I'm gonna push it back in. Just put this little pin into this hole, push it down, and now your SIM card tray is gonna pop out. I'm gonna put that down there, and I'm going to pull out the SIM card tray. And from here, you're gonna wanna go ahead and put the SIM card from your service provider in right here. And once you actually set that down inside of here, just put it back. Make sure that the hole on the SIM card tray is lined up down here. Just basically make sure that it's not put upside down or it won't work. So both the holes are down here. Go ahead and push that in, and now you're ready to continue. So from here, go ahead and put in whatever phone number it is that is assigned to your SIM card. That's what it's going to be reading from. So you can't put in anybody's phone number here. Put in your phone number that's attached to the SIM card on this account. And then once you have that in, you can go ahead and continue. Okay, so if you just got finished doing your verification process, congratulations. If you put in the option for it to call you, you should have gotten a phone call on the phone number if it was something different than the number that you entered in here to be yours. So let's say in order to verify, you put in somebody else's number that was in the room. That was fine. It's just going to call that number to verify that for you. But if it's the same number that was on your SIM card, it's a lot simpler because it should have just pushed you on here to terms and conditions. And so that means that everything went through well. It knows and recognizes that that phone number is attached to the SIM card that you put in a few moments ago. And so you got to bypass that secondary two-factor authentication method of getting a phone call, a text message, putting the 6 digits in to verify that it is in fact you who's accessing and creating this account. Okay, so anyways, now that we moved on to terms and conditions, you can read through all of this if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and hit agree so we can continue this tutorial. And after this, it's going to just take a few minutes and we're almost done. It's going to take a few minutes to go ahead and just create your new Apple ID. And this Apple ID, like I said, is what you're going to use to manage your account. It's going to be different than the password that you use to log into your phone. And this Apple ID and that password, remember that password, write it down somewhere if you need to, somewhere safe, or go ahead and remember it, because you're going to need that password to do so many things on your device once it's set up. And that's a very important password. And that email that you created or the one that you use from a different email address, you're going to be using that as your login. That Apple iCloud password, you're going to use as that password to download applications and access so many things. It's very important. Okay, keep your iPhone up to date. We're going to hit continue. And if you want to enable location services for things like maps and weather, you can go ahead and hit enable. I recommend that you press enable location services, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It just makes it simple to check the weather where you are and use maps quickly. Okay, so from here, if you want to use Apple Pay, you can go ahead and set this up now. And Apple Pay is going to let you take your debit card or credit card, and it's going to let you put that information into your iPhone. And you can even use this on the Apple Watch too if you have that. But for the iPhone, you can enter that in and you'll be actually able to use your iPhone to pay for things at certain locations. Some stores, if you see the little NFC icon, I'll post that here for you to see just what it looks like. Yeah, that icon there. When you see that NFC icon, you can actually use Apple Pay to pay for stuff. And that could be kind of nice for convenience, but it also is something that not everybody even cares about using. It doesn't make a difference for using your iPhone. It's just an extra feature. I'm going to go ahead and put setup later and wallet. iCloud Keychain. This is important because this is going to keep all of your password and credit card information, if you chose to go that route, secure. And this is great because if you have an iPhone and something like a Mac, or an iPad, you have all of these Apple products and you're logging in with that same username and password that we just set up a few moments ago, use iCloud Keychain is going to remember all of those passwords and keep them up to date across all of those devices, so that when you go back to that same website on your iPad, guess what? If you've already logged into that website and press yes for it to save the password, you don't have to keep typing in that same password. It's going to remember it and it's going to be attached to your iCloud account. That's why that's important. So that iCloud account is going to hold this keychain, which is going to keep up to date all of your passwords and allow you to access it across any Apple device that you're logged into with your iCloud email and the password that we set up earlier. So I think this is a wonderful feature, because if you have a lot of websites that you access, it can be tough to remember every single password. So go ahead and press. You can read about more. You can hit about and kind of read more if you want to, but I recommend that this is turned on. So hit continue. If you want to use Siri, you can. You can either set it up to just talk to it by having it listen. If you don't want it to do that, then you can actually just press this side button here. Okay, press and hold this. This is the power button whenever the device is off, but once the device is on, you can hold this button down and actually access Siri with it. Okay, so if the device is completely off and you hold this button, it will turn your device on. If the device is already powered on, this then switches functions to become a Siri button. That could be kind of annoying for new people who are switching to iOS, but just so now you know, that's what that button is going to change functions to. And I'll show you how to turn off your device once we get all set up, because it is different once the device is running for actually powering off your device. Okay, so if you want to get Siri, you can go ahead and press continue and go through that process, and then come back and join us to continue with setting up your iPhone. If you want to set this up later, you can, okay? And again, you can press it, you can set it up two ways: to press and hold this button down, and you'll see this Siri icon pop up, where you can then say, hey, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow? And Siri will tell you that. Or you can set it to be hands-free, where you could just start talking and say, hey Siri, what's the weather going to be like tomorrow, without touching this side button here. I'm going to put setup later in settings, because I think some of you will want to set that up and some of you don't care about it. Screen time just gives you a report about how addicted you are to your phone. Basically, it kind of tells you how long you've been using applications for. Maybe you feel like after using the iPhone, because it's so nice to use, man, I'm spending 16 hours on a Facebook every single day. You know, screen time is going to tell you that. And from there, you can do stuff like put time limit to tell you, hey, you've been using Facebook for, 30 minutes. You can put a timer in or something like that, and to tell you you reached your limit, if you want to kind of maintain that. Or maybe you want your kids to not use certain applications for hours and hours on end. You want to set them to, hey, okay, I allow them to watch YouTube Kids for just 20 minutes a day. After that, it's done. No YouTube Kid Zombies, just 20 minutes. This screen time is going to help you with doing that. And I am going to post videos showing exactly how to use screen time to be effective if you're interested in actually managing the usage of applications. Okay, so I'm going to put setup later in settings. Now, this is iPhone analytics. This is just going to let you know that Apple is going to be using certain data to basically tweak the software and make it better. It's going to be kind of just learning different things based on a device. Okay, so this is something that you can press learn more about, or just go ahead and press continue. All right. If you don't want to share some of that information, you can press don't share. If you don't care about sharing it with developers, at that point you can go ahead and press share with. If you don't care about it, you can press share with app developers. If you do care about that and you don't want to be given that information, just press don't share. Now, this is going to let you decide if you want to use your iPhone in a dark mode so that the background is darker like this. Some people like this. It does look really nice, and it does save battery life to have it set to a dark mode. All right. However, if you prefer to have it light mode, because this is easier to read text maybe, and you just kind of prefer this look, just leave it in light mode. Later on, you can change it to be aligned with the sunrise and sunset so that when the sun is up and it's bright outside, you're going to want your device to look like this. But when the sun starts to go down or the sun has set, you can have it set to change automatically to dark mode so that it's easier on the eyes. You don't want to be in the middle of the night checking your phone at 2 a.m. and this bright background is like burning your eyeballs and it's causing it to water. That's where having something like a dark mode is going to come in handy. All right, so I'm going to leave it on light for right now and press continue. Now for this display zoom, if you want things to look like it does now and just kind of have this smaller view, just leave it on standard. If you want things to be bigger, especially this is useful for if your eyesight is just a little bit harder to see some things on like a screen that's smaller, this is going to be really handy. Go ahead and press display zoom. I have this set to zoomed in on my grandmother's phone, and it makes it easier for her to read things like text messages or information on websites. Just using the device with the display set to zoom, it's just going to make things like it says zooms and shows larger text and controls. Okay, so this is easier on the eyes, especially if you're somebody who's a little bit older. Zoomed is going to be the way to go. I'm going to leave it on standard for this tutorial, and then I'm going to go ahead and press continue. And guess what? You're all done. Welcome to iPhone. If you're using iPhone 10, 11, 12, or 13, go ahead and swipe up from the bottom to get started. If you're using like an iPhone SE or something that has a Touch ID button here, you know who you are. You're not going to have it full screen with the Face ID up top. You're going to have a box and display, and you're going to have Touch ID, which is really great to use, especially during the pandemic. Then you're going to want to press that button here to go ahead and continue. Anyways, great job setting up your device. This was a tutorial for beginners and you did a wonderful job. I hope that you all found this useful. And what I'm going to do is put a playlist up here for if you want to look at more ways to use your iPhone, especially if you're new. These videos are going to be really helpful to show you different tips and tricks to basically just get the most out of your device. You're going to be using it every day for possibly years. It's a great idea to learn how to use it so that you're not frustrated because you just can't figure out how to do certain things. And that's one of the biggest things to keep in mind whenever you're switching operating systems, or if you're brand new to using iOS, it's that learning curve. And here at Chill Tech, I want to help you get the most out of your device by teaching you little ways to just make life easier by learning them. The iPhone is a wonderful device. If you have a brand new iPhone 13, for example, you're going to have pretty much 5 years on average of software updates. So it's a great investment for the long term if you decided to get an iPhone, and not too much changes year over year. So this is going to be something that as you start to learn it, it'll get easier and better. Even with new software, you're going to be able to kind of learn those new things a lot easier, just the more you've learned in the current version of the software. So congratulations on going through this tutorial. I hope you found it helpful, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.